Hi, it's Lauren, and I'm excited to be back with you today here on the Whimsy Stamps channel, sharing you another fun background featuring new releases that just came out today, like this exclamation background stamp and this super fun nope stamp set. So we're going to use this awesome large rubber stamp to create a background using the embossed resist technique. So I am stamping VersaMark all over this big stamp and making sure I have a good coverage on this piece of paper. I am using a mixed media paper because we are going to be doing some distressing. So I've stamped it in a clear ink, and I've stamped it twice because I tried to see if I had a good coverage and I couldn't tell. So I thought, you know what, better safe than sorry, so I stamped it twice. And now I'm going to put on some white embossing powder. So now that there is some embossing powder on there, I can see that everything did stamp really well. I'm going to carefully hold it and use my heating tool to melt all of that plastic in the embossing powder, and it takes a little while, so this is pretty sped up to make sure everything is nice and melted and looks really good. So once that's done, I'm going to slow it down. You can see here the shininess of that white embossing powder and that awesome stamp set. I use the question mark exclamation point often in text messages, so I am super stoked about this stamp set. I'm going to create a blended distressed background, so I am using picked raspberry and I am going to blend it into candied apple. I thought these went really well together. They're both bright and fun, and I colored my little crying lady from the Nope stand set. Her dress is kind of a pinkishy red. I know that sounds weird, kind of a coral color outfit. So I wanted to blend those two colors together to match her dress right in the middle. So I'm going back and forth between the pink and the red until I get a blend that I like. So like I said, I've stamped and colored her, and I made sure her dress matched the red so that way it would tie together. Now that I'm happy, I'm going to rub off the ink. So as you could see, when we color over our embossing powder or our embossed image, it takes on the color a bit, but when we wipe that off, because it is a plastic material, it comes right off. So you see that white embossing powder shine through, and I just think it looks really great. I splattered some water using my Distress water sprayer, and then I am sprinkling on some metallic black paint. I'm going to pick up some of that paint so that way I just have the shimmer left over. After everything is dry, I'm going to trim this down to be 4 by 5 1/4, just so I have a little bit of my black cardstock for my card base shine through around the edge. I am going to use some super strong sticky tape to put that down because it has been embossed and spritzed and heated up. It's not warped, but this way it will stay nice and flat on my card base. So I have fussy cut my little crying girl here out off camera, and I'm trying to decide what kind of background. I really love the stacked oval frames. Um, this kind of reminds me of what my brain feels like when I have anxiety, just like a big jumbled mess, which is probably not what this die is intended for, but that's what I'm going for with this card. I thought it kind of added to the, you know, what am I doing here kind of image that I have here. So I settled on a black frame with a white background, so that way my little crying lady here is really popped up against the card. But I wanted to add a little bit more to my white background, so I am stamping the Nope sentiment from the set in a gray ink and just like kind of a pattern on this white paper. I used the frame so that way I knew what was, directly horizontal for stamping because I wanted it to read Nope when I put it onto the card, in a horizontal. It's not sideways or crooked. So I am going to put the frame and the white piece together. I'm just using some invisible tape that I got at Target, and I am taping the black frame to the white paper. That way it won't move and they're stuck together. I thought it would be much easier than trying to pop up my frame because I want to pop up this whole stamped image and frame. Now that's done, I'm using some foam squares and I'm making sure to again overlap the black and the white frame to make sure that they stay together. I'm going to peel up all of that release paper and I am going to put it towards the top center of my card so that my nope is reading vertical across. I'm also going to pop up my sad lady here. I just think she's so funny. I mean, how many of us have stood there and went like, ugh, I don't want to do this today. So I have popped her up and now let's work on a sentiment. I used some black scrap from my stash and I'm stamping the sentiment. So how's your day going? And I am going to emboss this with that same white embossing powder. I'm heating up my gun and melting down my sentiment. Once it is all dry and cooled down, I'm just taking a microfiber cloth and wiping off some of that excess baby powder from my embossing tool. I am taking a paper trimmer and trimming down my sentiment so it's just perfect with the actual stamp set and using some foam tape to pop that up. I'm going to adhere this just below my little crying girl image here and balance out the card so that everything looks centered. Now that's done, I am debating if I wanted to add some embellishments and I decided to go with these kind of translucent opalesque sequins that I have in my stash. So I am just putting them in various spots. I kind of wanted them to match my blue tears that are a little hard to see, but they're colored in with a lighter bluishy teal color. And I thought this would kind of add and bring in some of that tear colored blue into my card. So here is the finished card. I hope you like this technique and you try it yourself and that you check out all of the awesome new releases up on Whimsy Stamps today. You can find a link to their website as well as Pinterest and their Instagram down below. Please also join our Facebook group where you can find tons of inspiration. I hope you have a great day.